While LeBron James' career is being threatened by Zion Williamson in the NBA. LeBron James is in his 17th season in the NBA and is currently considered by many as the greatest basketball player ever. Some would argue Michael Jordan, and that's a debate for another time. Players like Zion Williamson have come into the league and have started to put numbers up that contend with James's numbers when their career approaches their 17th season. It's hard to know if any player will be able to be as consistent as LeBron James, but if Williamson or any of these other young stars continue at their pace, they'll threaten LeBron James when it comes down to ranking the best player to ever be in the NBA. Keep watching to see why LeBron James' career is being threatened by Zion. Zion Williamson. Williamson got his first crack at LeBron James on a Tuesday night. LeBron has been the face of the league for more than a decade, and Anthony Davis was the face of the Pelicans before Zion took over, after being the #1 overall pick of the NBA 2019 draft. Yes, the LA Lakers won the first game against Zion Pelicans in 118-109 as LeBron James scored, at the time, season-high 40 points on 17 of 27 shooting. James showed Zion just how much it takes to be the greatest player in his era. However, Zion didn't disappoint either. Again, the Lakers. Zion scored 29 points, brought down 6 rebounds, dished out 3 assists, and had plenty of drives and off-the-screen athleticism in that game. Zion reminded everyone that he was the next generation and that he could be the next LeBron James in the future. We saw this over and over again. Zion would attack Lakers defense, and it didn't matter if it was Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, or McGee. He had no fear. Zion would attack the paint like a halfback in the NFL. He would just lower his center of gravity to a point that it seems almost impossible for a man his size, which is 6'6", and at 285 pounds, it's hard to find an analogy to share when talking about how Zion Williamson plays basketball. In that game, Lakers bigs had no choice but to foul Zion. Zion will get to the rim unlike any other player. If he makes his free throws, he'll be an entirely different conversation than LeBron. Zion finished that game 13-19 from the free throw line. At the time, it was his 9th straight 20-point game. Every night he was breaking records and putting up his name in the history books. He tied Carmelo Anthony for the longest 20-point streak by a teenager in the NBA history. Anthony actually held his own record twice. The kid is special, LeBron told TNT's Chris Haynes after the game. In today's game, where it's a track race, it's fast-paced, it's high-tempo, it fits his game perfectly. When Zion attacks defenses before they get set, he's literally unstoppable. Zion seems to be years ahead of the development curve thanks to a coaching staff like Duke University and Coach K. When it comes to seeing cutting lanes and knowing when to exploit them, Zion seems to understand what to do very well. So far, Zion hasn't been forced any bad shots and isn't afraid of contact. When he first entered the first game against LeBron, he was averaging 74.6% of his shots in the range 0 to 3 feet from the rim. He was shooting 68.9% on those shots. Maybe the jitters got to Zion just a little bit against LeBron. He went 8 of 18 against the Lakers, and that marked just the second time in his career that he failed to shoot at least 50% from the field at that time. Nonetheless, he's still impressed, and it showed off his finishing ability. That's what got him those ridiculous numbers each game. On one possession, Zion drove directly into Davis and took solid contact right after jumping. He was able to hang in the air longer than Davis. Then he extended his arm and finger-rolled the ball in the hoop. Who else has the speed and power to attack the rim against phenoms like Davis? It's unbelievable. Zion has the raw athleticism, and that shows throughout games. James was raw too when he first came into the league. That raw talent showed in the second half when Zion made Dwight, who's better known as Superman, look foolish when he skied over Howard for a rebound. Just like LeBron had, Zion will have some growing pains. LeBron's 40-point game proved Zion has a long way to go. LeBron bullied Holiday in the paint and showed off along with going 5 of 11 from 3. Zion's got some insane moves. His first step and spin move are already devastating moves, but in order to be the king, he'll need to add some new moves to his arsenal. Of course, Zen will never be the passer that LeBron is. Nobody is except for the best point guards in the game, like John Stockton. You can expect a 285-pound beast to be a triple-double machine with assist. Obviously, Zion will command loads of attention on drives and post-ups over the course of his career, and that could help pack on assists in his career if he's surrounded by the right players. He'll learn how to better identify and set them up over time as he grows as a player. It's not like he's forcing shots now anyways. he'll still look to be less predictable when defenders have to respect his passing a bit more too. Zion can pick things up here and there from Anthony Davis on the defensive end. Zion's block rate and steal rate in college made for a ridiculous combination. Zion averaged 2.9 steals and 2.5 blocks per 75 possessions. That hasn't been displayed in the NBA as many would have hoped, but as he progresses and gets more comfortable in the league, those numbers should start to increase in the NBA as well. Anthony Davis averages 6.6 blocks per 75 possessions during his lone season at Kentucky and already entered the league as a solid defender. It'll likely take Zion a bit more time, but obviously he has the physical tools and body to be able to be a top defender in the league for years to come. Think about this. LeBron's size and athleticism felt unprecedented when he made his debut. Zion brings the exact same thing to games now. Anthony Davis was a force inside who showed some mid-range game in his rookie season. Early in his career, Zion is dominated in the paint. Plus, he's hitting the occasional three and showing positives at the free throw lines. If he's going to get to the line at such a high rate, he better make it happen. Here are the rookie numbers of James, Davis, and Zion after the game against the Lakers. Zion Williamson was averaging 28.3 points, 8.9 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 0.8 steals, 0.5 threes, 0.5 blocks per 75 possessions, with a 66.6 true shooting percentage and a 2.3 box plus minus. Anthony Davis averaged just 19.1 points, 11.5 rebounds, 1.4 assists, 1.7 steals, no threes, 2.5 blocks per 75 possessions, with a 55.9 true shooting percentage and a 2.5 blocks plus minus. Still impressive. Lastly, LeBron James averaged 21 points, 5.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists, 1.7 steals, 0.8 threes, 0.7 blocks per 75 possessions, with a 48.8 true shooting percentage and a 1.7 box plus minus. It's very early for comparisons. Some say LeBron isn't even close to Michael Jordan. That's an entirely different debate. But looking at comparisons of two of the best players in the NBA, currently it's pretty outstanding. How could you not get excited about Zion's future when looking at his stats compared to James' stats as a rookie? Zion has the combination of size, athleticism, and a great feel for the game. He wasn't able to take down LeBron and Anthony Davis during this game on that Tuesday night. He'll get many more chances if he could turn the Pelicans' fortunes around and help earn the Western Conference's final spot this season. Or he can develop and make the postseason next year. That's fine too. As he develops his passing and defense, he'll only give his team a better shot in that potential series against LeBron James. When Zion defeats LeBron, the Michael Jordan fans will come out to support Zion. That is, until Zion has a better career and more rings than Michael Jordan. Let's hold our horses for a second and see if Zion Williamson is even able to make one championship in his career. We've got a long way to go. But some would argue that there are other young players in the league that could and should win a championship before Zion. Luka Doncic. If Zion can't take down LeBron James, then someone else in the NBA is going to have to. Luka Doncic is an entirely different player than Zion Williamson, is also completely different than LeBron James. Doncic doesn't have the athleticism of these two and definitely can't jump as high, but he's got all the tools to be one of the greatest of all time if he continues his success story with the Mavericks. Currently, the NBA has been getting more and more exciting, and with new and current superstars taking over the league, LeBron James hasn't won the Most Valuable Player award since the 2012-2013 season, and yet we're still considering him as a GOAT. The MVP award is probably overhyped and given to stat chasers. That's reality. But still, the NBA has the most talent it's ever had in the league before, and it shows. Superstars are more spread across the league, and the super team of the Golden State Warriors has been stopped for at least a year, depending on who they get to draft. Luka Doncic is one of the most polished players in the league, and he's only 21 years old. If anyone could be the next LeBron James, it could be Luka, if not Zion. These two players have connections between them. First, there's so much hype around both players. James came out of high school and made Sports Illustrated covers, while Luka Doncic came into the league and dominated while instantly making a name for himself in the US while making fans in Europe proud. It seems like nowadays, Doncic finds himself compared to LeBron James more often than not. Luka has a basketball IQ that's just so rare. The IQ reminds people of LeBron because he was that one player who had a crazy IQ early in his career. Doncic is able to read the floor, get the ball out of his hands under ridiculous pressure, and is able to hit teammates with a pass that wasn't guarded by defense. Doncic has the mindsets to change the flow on an offense in situations that would shut down most players. He continues to combine his high basketball IQ and his powerful physical drives to become one of the greatest basketball players they could be. Doncic is just in his second year in the NBA and has already become a superstar in the league. LeBron is in his 17th and looks just as healthy as he did in his 7th. When the Lakers and Mavericks met for the first time this season, both Doncic and LeBron tallied triple-doubles. They both had a 30-15-10 game, and Doncic and James became the youngest and oldest players to hit those numbers in NBA history. They did it in the same game. Both James and Doncic put on a show with their passing games. Doncic is one of the few players that has been compared to James' passing ability. In that game, we saw LeBron no-look pass and Doncic's ability to get rid of the ball to a teammate when being double-teamed. Of course, both superstars showed off their iconic step-back three-pointers. Both players are fitting perfectly in their systems with their teams and are able to release the ball quicker. They can fake a drive and then pass out to an open teammate, or whatever. The game between the Mavericks and Lakers went into overtime. In the end, Luka couldn't sneak a win against LeBron and Anthony Davis as Los Angeles took the game 119-110. After that extended regular season game, LeBron had something to say to Luka. James showed so much respect to Luka after his performance and wanted to let him know that he noticed. James also told Luka to keep going and working. LeBron likes the type of game Luka Doncic plays. It was a fun matchup because neither player was scared to measure up the other in these one-on-one situations. Some will complain that the NBA is a best friends league. However, without a couple stars on your team, there's no way you can win an NBA championship. For Luka, it's all about taking the challenge on. He'll put up the biggest numbers possible for his team, and at the end of the day, he did what he could. They'll hug it out at the end. Luka is excited about the future for the Mavericks. He'll be looking to play in the playoffs soon, and then he might not be hugging it out so quickly. Doncic versus James is going to start being must-watch television. It's not a rivalry yet, but James has already lost an NBA championship to the Mavericks. This could turn into a rivalry if Luka can continue to help turn around the Mavericks. Currently, James's career isn't being threatened by anyone just yet. He's played 17 seasons and still has plenty more to go. If Zion Williamson and Luka Doncic can continue their pace for 17 seasons themselves, they'll be the talk at that stage in their career. For now, we need to close our mouths and watch closely. Can Zion or Luka put up better numbers than LeBron James when it's all said and done?